Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with a look back at last night's big football game. It was the championship between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. And of all of the Super Bowls that I've seen in my 43 years, I can say that last night's was definitively one of them. But we all know that football is really the sideshow to the Super Bowl. What we're really all here for is capitalism. Usually I enjoy watching the Super Bowl, but I have to say that last night's felt very dystopian. And it's largely because so many of the ads featured companies that were basically begging us to turn over every element of our lives to artificial intelligence. You had Wix Harmony wanting us to create websites with AI, OpenAI telling us to use it for all things STEM, Claude with an ad telling us that its AI doesn't have ads, Oakley Meta wanting us to record all of our sporting achievements and daily activities with AI, Microsoft 365 suggesting that AI could find the next Super Bowl athletes, Google Gemini showing us how to design a new house with AI, Mr. Beast giving away $1 million if you crack his code and tell him what it is using Slack's AI, AI.com telling you to get your AI screen name right now before it's too late, and Base44 telling you how to build apps with AI. But none of those commercials can hold a candle to the three most dystopian AI ads we saw this year. There was Ring advertising their search party function, which activates all of their cameras in your neighborhood to find a particular target, but don't worry, it's only going to be used to find your lost dog. It could never be used for any other purpose, right? Alexa Plus had an ad with Chris Hemsworth detailing all of the different ordinary everyday ways that AI can kill you without any real rebuttal to that argument. And GenSpark capitalized on your 80s nostalgia with Matthew Broderick encouraging you to let GenSpark automate your work and take a day off. And if you do let GenSpark automate your work to take the day off, you know what? You may as well take the whole week off. You know what? Take the whole year off because your company has realized that AI can do your job and now your team has been cut in half. I don't know if this was just a Hail Mary by all of these companies who have leveraged themselves heavily into artificial intelligence to get us to buy their products, or if this was a dark sign of things to come, but I have to say I never felt less human or less important while watching a Super Bowl. But I guess it's a good thing that all of those ads existed, because if they didn't, there was another ad that would have felt just as dystopian, and that was the one that aired for Hims and Hers, which was pitching their products as a way to keep the average person as healthy as rich people who live longer because they can afford expensive medical treatment.
They get the best of everything. So why don't you?
Is the next Super Bowl just going to be the Hunger Games? Because it really feels like we're headed in that direction. Luckily, to help keep me sane and maintain some sense of normalcy, I also never felt more American than I did last night during the Budweiser ad, which featured a Clydesdale who raises a bald eagle from a tiny baby bird into a beautiful national icon. A frosty Budweiser, Clydesdales, bald eagles, that's as American as the President of the United States taking time out of his schedule running the country to gripe about the halftime show. But even amongst all of the dystopia last night, there were also a bunch of traditional Super Bowl ads. And let's start with the ones that I'm always looking forward to the most, the sneak previews or the trailers of movies that are coming out in 2026. And it seemed like last night there were a few more than we've gotten in the last few years. Scream 7 released a teaser that gave us a little bit more of a peek at Sidney Prescott's latest nightmare, with Ghostface now stalking her teenage daughter, which means that Scream is now officially 2 generations in, which doesn't spark some kind of existential crisis on my part at all. We got our best look yet at Steven Spielberg's latest film, Disclosure Day, which appears to be about a radical attempt to reveal the existence of aliens to humanity. I got kind of a Minority Report feel from it, although I wasn't really sold on some of the special effects that were in the trailer, but still, it's Steven Spielberg. He's my favorite director of all time, and I like the cast of the movie, so this definitely heightened my anticipation. The Mandalorian and Grogu made an interesting choice, with a captive audience. Instead of using the Super Bowl to show off footage from the upcoming movie to get people excited, Disney opted instead to produce a Budweiser parody ad. And honestly, I think that this was a missed opportunity. This was the biggest television audience of the year, and instead of showing the audience footage from the movie to get them excited for the movie, they decided not to do that. Unless, of course, Disney thought for some reason that showing the audience more footage from The Mandalorian and Grogu would not get them excited for the movie. movie. It just seemed like kind of an odd choice to me. Netflix dropped a surprise trailer for The Adventures of Cliff Booth, which is David Fincher's upcoming sequel to Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And judging by the movie posters that were featured in the trailer, we're jumping from 1969 to 1977. I think that Netflix made a very savvy move in releasing this trailer as a surprise that nobody really saw coming. Maybe less savvy in not officially uploading that trailer anywhere on YouTube, at least not as of this recording on Sunday night, and also not including the name of the movie in the trailer for people that maybe didn't know who Cliff Booth is. But I really liked the style of this movie. Again, the cast looks very good, and even in the trailer, I liked how they sanitized it for broadcast television by artificially what looks like scratching the negative of anything that might be objectionable. David Fincher directing a Quentin Tarantino script and a sequel to a Tarantino movie, that is just too juicy for me to pass up, and I really just can't wait to see what this movie is going to be. There was a trailer for the third Minions movie teased during the game. In an apparent acknowledgement of my feelings about the Minions and Monsters appears to revolve around these loathsome creatures summoning other demon spawn from hell. It didn't look any more or less entertaining or good to me than all of the other Minions films, which means that it will probably make $2 billion. Supergirl put out a new spot that was teased pre-game, and this one was very dog-centric. It featured a lot of crypto. We've already gotten a trailer for Supergirl, so this is more of kind of a reminder that the movie was coming out. However, I'm beginning to think more and more that the fate of this DC universe may lie on how cute the audience thinks a dog is. And Amazon MGM put out a teaser asking the audience to check out the latest trailer for their film Project Hail Mary, featuring Ryan Gosling trying to save the Earth from our dying sun. This one is from the writer of The Martian, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And I've heard a lot of very good things about Project Hail Mary. I thought that the trailer was very intriguing. It's actually the first trailer for the film that I actually watched because I wanted to be able to comment on it for this video. And I think this very well could be a spring hit. There are so many more Super Bowl ads and trailers to break down, but before we do, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, AG1. It's February, and how are those New Year's resolutions looking? If you've already dropped some of them due to lack of motivation, it's time to try something that's easy to stick with AG1. A lot of supplements make it hard to stick to a regimen with a bunch of different pills that you have to take at different times of the day, but with AG1 it's easy. You get a multivitamin, antioxidant, superfoods, and pre- and probiotics all in one scoop. I have spent a lot of time away from home recently, and AG1 made it so easy when I went to Park City, for example, to make sure that I stuck to taking AG1 every single day with their travel packs, which were very convenient for me to just throw in my bag. 20 seconds, one scoop, 8 ounces of water, and I was done for the day. I'm also a fan of AG1's newer flavors, especially berry and tropical. Being able to mix up those flavors also helps make sure that not only is drinking AG1 every day easy, it also stays fresh. AG1 has over 50,000 5-star reviews and comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. For a limited time only, go to drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell to get a free AG1 flavor sampler and AGZ sampler to try all of the flavors, plus free vitamin D3 and K2 and an AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order. This is a limited time offer, only available while supplies last, so get it in now. That's drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell, drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell. Apart from the commercials that made me scared for the future of humanity and also the movie trailers, there were some more traditional Super Bowl commercials, and I really didn't think most of them were that memorable this year. I think it was kind of a down year for commercials, but there were a few standouts. My favorite may have been Xfinity's take on Jurassic Park, where they go back in time and their service saves the park from melting down in the original film. The ad got Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum to return, and I liked the clever take on a lot of the movie's lines.
That is one big pile of shrimp.
But of course, they also had to use deepfake technology or AI or de-aging tech, whatever it is, to make the actors look younger, which I still think just makes them look creepy. But still, I thought that this was a really good idea for an ad, and de-aging aside, I thought that it was pretty good execution. Speaking of de-aged 90s stars, I also liked the annual Ben Affleck Dunkin' Donuts ad featuring a sitcom version of Good Will Hunting. For a 90s kid like me, this was an all-star crossover event. You had Alfonso Ribeiro from Fresh Prince, Jaleel White from Family Matters, Jennifer Aniston and Matt LeBlanc from Friends, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, Jasmine Guy from A Different World, Ted Danson from Cheers. It was like a live-action version of Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, which is, now that I think about it, something else that you probably won't remember unless you were also a 90s kid like me. Naturally, there were a lot of celebrities in Super Bowl ads this year, and there were a few that I thought were pretty fun. We had Matthew McConaughey and Bradley Cooper feuding over conspiracy theories about whether football exists just to sell food. This was for Uber Eats, and I want to believe that that's just what their dynamic is like in real life.
You want a morning scramble, Bradley?
Emma Stone turned in an Emmy-worthy performance as herself, attempting to buy EmmaStone.com in an ad for Squarespace. Man, she really can do anything. By the way, and this really kind of freaked me out, I actually did buy the domain danmurrell.com shortly before the Super Bowl started, and I'm starting to wonder if that's a coincidence or if Squarespace used AI to incept that idea into my brain. Kurt Russell taught Louis Pullman how to ski in an ad for Michelob Ultra. I already consider Kurt Russell to be a somewhat mystical figure, so this just confirmed my own beliefs. And I also have to acknowledge William Shatner's appearance in a Raisin Bran commercial as Will Shat, a fiber ambassador who makes a lot of poop puns.
Will Shad in the house.
Wait, Will Shat where?
Never mind, it's fiber time.
And honestly, I can only hope that when I'm almost 95 years old, that I will have the same kind of self-deprecating sense of humor that William Shatner has. I can also only hope that I will someday make it to almost 95 years old. But of all the celebrities who made an appearance during the Super Bowl telecast, perhaps the most surprising came during the halftime show, where I spent 2 minutes straight trying to figure out, wait a minute, is that Pedro Pascal? And the answer is yes. Yes, it was Pedro Pascal, who's obviously living his best life. As always, there were also some commercials that were just weird. There were 2 commercials that were solely devoted to butts. One of them was for Levi's, and another one was sort of a PSA to advocate for men to have blood tests to diagnose prostate cancer. And Coinbase flexed just how much crypto they can waste by using 60 seconds just to broadcast a karaoke version of Everybody Backstreet's Back. Man, it was a big night for 90s kids. I have to admit, though, the ad did make me stop and pay attention, so mission accomplished. There were also a couple of ads that were extremely petty. One of them was from Pepsi, and it featured the trademark Coca-Cola polar bear experiencing an existential crisis after choosing Pepsi in a blind taste test. It even had a Coldplay cam reference. Remember that thing that happened last July? But the pettiest ad this year, and maybe the pettiest Super Bowl ad of all time, was from Nike, and it aired directly after the game, right after the Seahawks won, and it featured Marshawn Lynch talking about how much better things taste when they're bitter.
Nothing tastes as good as getting your leg back.
Now, if you don't know, several years ago, the Seattle Seahawks lost the Super Bowl to the New England Patriots in the fourth quarter, right at the very end of the game. Marshawn Lynch was on the team at the time. He was their star running back. Seattle had the ball right up next to the end zone. All they had to do was run the ball in for a touchdown. Marshawn Lynch was one of the best running backs in the NFL, but instead of handing it off to Marshawn Lynch, they threw a very ill-advised pass that was intercepted by the Patriots, basically ending the game and handing the Patriots a Super Bowl victory. And so all of these years later, after Marshawn Lynch had retired, Nike basically had him come in to record an ad just in case the Seahawks won, talking about how sweet it was to be bitter for all of these years and to finally taste that victory of the Seahawks beating the Patriots in a Super Bowl. That is world-class pettiness, and quite frankly, I think it may have been the best ad of the night.
Tastes good, don't it?
But of course, there were so many other Super Bowl ads that I didn't mention. Was there one of your favorites that I didn't talk about? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. It's going to be a very busy week here on the channel. Be sure to stay tuned tomorrow for Charts with Dan. I'll have my live show on Wednesday. Wuthering Heights comes out this weekend. And anything else that pops up, I'll be talking about right here on the channel. But most of all, thank you for watching this video. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.